I want to take a moment now to introduce from Syneos, Mr. Mark Davis. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay, well, like Tanya said, my name's Mark. I am a recovering talent agent. Sorry, I couldn't resist in this room. I just couldn't resist that one. I'm CEO of a company called Syneos. I'm actually based in New York, so I'm really excited to be in Hollywood with you guys today at a two-day event, spending so much time talking about pitching shows and developing shows, and for you guys actually pitching them tomorrow. So I want to thank our Rod and our friends at NATPE for putting on such a cool forum for producers to have a chance to learn more about pitching and to actually do it. Today in this session, it's a brief session, 20 minutes, I'm going to dive into one particular aspect of pitching, and that's how to use technology to develop and to pitch your shows, specifically cloud-based technology. So let's just start at the very top. What is the cloud, and why is there so much hype about it these days? Okay, even if you can't precisely define what the cloud is, chances are you're probably using it every day, right? So if you use Gmail for your email, if you share videos on YouTube, if you share files on something like Dropbox or iCloud, or even if you use some consumer applications like Facebook and Twitter to connect with people, then you're using the cloud now every day, and it's probably impacting your life in some way. But let's try and define what it is. Okay, here's one definition that I like. The cloud is the use of web apps to perform the functions that were traditionally done with software installed on a computer. So here's a picture. Okay, maybe you've got something like this, maybe you can recognize this, something like this in your office, okay? It's a mess, a tangle of cords and cables and boxes. This is what it looks like before you start working in the cloud, right? When you start working in the cloud, it works like this. So you stop thinking of computing as a physical thing. You just log in and you get to work, whether you log in on your Mac or your PC or any of your mobile devices. So as long as you've got your mobile device, you can be somewhere like the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, and you've got access to all of your information in real time, so you're not chained to an office. Okay, if that's the cloud, fine. But why such a big deal? Why all the hype about it right now? Let me throw a couple numbers out there. Okay, 2 years ago, the cloud computing was a $20 billion a year industry. 2 years from now, it's going to be $55 billion. Now, just to put that into context, that means it's a faster growing industry than any other industry, faster than video games, biotech, green energy, you name it. And that's why it's almost impossible to get away from the hype, and that's why you're hearing so much about the cloud right now. Fine. Okay, but what does that mean to us? What does that mean to people who work in production, if anything? Okay? My company, every few months we do a survey, an industry survey, and we talk to people who work in production, and we say, what cloud apps are you using? How's it working out for you? And I'm going to share with you some of the most recent findings. There's really 5 different categories of cloud-based production software or production-related software. Okay, so most production people, right, if they use a cloud-based email client, they're using Gmail. For a shared calendar, they're probably using Google Calendar. People are starting to experiment a little bit with iCloud. In terms of file sharing, over the last couple of years, most people we talked to said, yeah, I'm using Dropbox. But what we're hearing more recently over the last few months, especially with last month with Google, you probably heard announced their Google Drive. We're hearing a lot of people start to experiment with that, especially since it costs about half the price of Dropbox. There's also any number of production-related applications. So you may have heard of Adobe's Story product, where you can write a script in your browser in the cloud, or Script, or Quick Film Budget. Seems like there's new applications coming out every day. And in terms of people who are sharing video in a production type of context online, you've got companies like Fifth Kind and A-Frame, where you can share and collaborate on video. And that's fine, but there's actually a problem here. And the problem is what you see right there. The problem is there's a lot of different applications and more coming up all the time. So as a practical matter, when you're in production, it can be kind of difficult to say to your team, all right, we're using this for this, and here's the login for that one. It can get kind of difficult to manage all of these different apps. So there's been a trend towards a type of production management platform where you can bring all of these tools together into one login, into one place. So you may be familiar with companies like Synchronize, Lightspeed, and there are a couple others who are doing some interesting things in terms of things like breaking down a script and production office distribution. But the trend where this is ultimately going, I think, is where you bring the last two pieces together in terms of production management and video tools, because after all, we are making video, right? So you bring it all together into one single login. And that's actually what my company, Syneos, does. And what I generally tell people with this kind of technology is the best way to kind of wrap your head around it and see if it works, if it would work in your particular workflow, is to see it in action. Because it can get kind of, a lot of mumbo jumbo and jargon can be thrown out there. So what I'm actually going to do now is show you what it looks like. And I'm going to show you a hypothetical scenario. Okay, so I'm going to log into Syneos. Now, obviously, it's cloud-based software, so there's no software to install. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, let's walk through a scenario. Let's say I'm a producer, and I've got an idea for a new show. I'm going to show you what it would look like to start developing that show and ultimately pitching it on this kind of a technology. Okay, so I will log in. Okay, when you first log into Syneos, you see your dashboard, right? So you see recent productions that you're working on, you see recent activity across those productions, and you see a master calendar across the different shows that you're working on. But this is a new show, right? So I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to click on Create New. And I'm going to create a new production. I'm just going to call it My New Show. And I'm going to set up this project. Now, just like that, I've set up the show on Syneos. So what you see is you see the title of the show here, and you see two blue buttons here. One is Production Office, and one is Video Files. And if I open up Production Office, it opens up a set of applications. Again, bringing all the applications into one place. And I'm just going to walk through some of these. Let's first look at the script. Okay, so let's say you've got an idea for a script and you need to start writing it. There's a couple different ways you could handle it when you're working in the cloud, right? So one is you can write the script in real time in your browser, and you can do that by clicking on New Script. I will just call this Script, and I will click on Create New Document. Now it's going to take about 10 seconds to open up here because what you're going to see is a word processing application in the cloud, and you can see I'm writing my script. And here are some changes, and I just keep writing it. And since it's in the cloud, you can, again, collaborate on it in real time with your writing partner or whoever else is working on the script. I'll click Save. One of the interesting aspects about this type of work environment is you can go back and forth with comments with let's say, your writing partner. So let's say I want to make a comment about this line. I can click on Insert, go down to Comment, and say, let's change this. Let's change the. And you can see the comments are made here. So very easy to work on the script and go back and forth with your partners to get it to where you want it, what you want it to look like. Now let's say you're working on a reality show, and you want your script to be 2 columns, audio and video formatted like that. So again, I'm going to click on New Script. I'm just going to call this Script 2. This time I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. And again, it's going to take about 10 seconds, but what you're going to see is a spreadsheet application within Syneos. So I've got my audio, my video, and I can write the script here just like I did with in a Word version. Oops, I'll click OK. Now, there's also a third way to do the script. So let's say you're doing a scripted drama. Maybe you're doing the script in Final Draft, for example. If you write the script in Final Draft, you can click Upload Script. And I'm just going to upload a sample. I'll click on Select Files. I will find a Final Draft script and start upload. It's going to take a couple seconds. Here's the script. Now I'm going to open it up. And what you're about to actually see is the Final Draft script in a browser. So you can share the script with people. They don't need a $300 copy of Final Draft, so it's a lot easier, faster, cheaper. Okay, so once you've got the script, you can then begin working on other aspects of the production. So the next one is the calendar application. So this is just a very simple web-based schedule. I can type in event, I can change the color, make it an all-day event if I need to, and then save event. So just a simple way to keep everybody in sync. And I can also go into week view and day view as well. There's a locations management tool. So what you can see here, this is Google Maps happening back here. I can click here to add a new location. So maybe I just want to call the location opening scene. And the address here, I believe, we'll set it here as 7000 Hollywood Boulevard. That's going to find the address. I'll click on the address that it found, and I will click Add Location. So you can see I've set this as my shooting location. If I click on it, it gives me a bird's eye view of the location. And then if you recognize this little guy over here, the Google Street View guy, I can drag him onto the street. Here we are. And so people can really start to visualize where they're going to be shooting that day. I can also click on Edit Location. And it's going to open up a location sheet. So you can see I can input the type of information I would typically put in any kind of a location management sheet. Now, the next application is call sheets. But keep in mind, we're just developing this show, right? So we're not going to need call sheets until we're in production. So I don't really need the call sheet application. That's fine. There's a little button down here called Customize. And if I click on that, it's the Customize This Production page. And I can see here are all the apps that have been set up for this show. Here's call sheets. I'm going to click on Edit and then Hide and get rid of that because I just don't need that for right now. And skipping ahead, Wrap Book. I'm not going to need that for a while either, so I will hide that application as well. So now you can see that those apps have disappeared from this show. As long as we're on the Customize page, you can see Add Your Project logo here. I'll click on the Upload button, and again, select a file, and I will upload a logo because picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So project logo uploaded, it'll take a few minutes to update. We'll give that a few seconds actually before it updates. And now I'll go back into the production office. But let's say, again, we're not in production. Maybe I don't want to call it production office. Maybe I want to call it the pitch, okay? So you can start to see all of the different elements. Here's my logo that has been uploaded. So you can start to see all the different elements that you would put together when you're developing and pitching your show. Okay, so let's go to the next app, which is Budget. Now, we've already looked at how to create a spreadsheet in the browser, but let's say you've already done the budget in Excel. You can click on Upload Budget. And let's say you're working on a budget where you've got a standard production budget where you've got a top sheet and then all the detail sheets. That's fine. You can open it up. You can upload it in Cineos. Again, it's going to take a few seconds to open up. But then people can start to collaborate on the script, again, in the browser. So instead of emailing documents back and forth, when you need a copy of the budget, you're just going to go and get it in real time when you need it. So you can see here's the top sheet. And again, here are the different worksheets with the different details. Now, there's a obvious question here about the budget, which is security, right? You don't want probably everybody seeing the budget for the show. Okay, so there's a button here that says permissions, and I could click on it. Right now, since I've just created this project from scratch, I'm the only person who has access, who's connected to the project, so who can see it. But as you invite more and more people to this project on Cineos, they'll show up here, and you can easily set permissions for who can see what applications. And there's also a file cabinet app where you can store pretty much any kind of document that you may have related to the show. So let's go into video files. Okay, so we talked before about production management tools and video management tools. Okay, let's say you've shot, Rod talked earlier about doing a sizzle reel. So let's say you've got your sizzle reel up here. Again, video files, the default apps are Rough Cuts and Final Cuts. I'm not going to be getting to that for a while because I'm in development. So let me customize this, and I will hide these two applications. And what I'm actually going to do now is create a new application. Okay, so you see a little button here that says Add a Custom Application. So the way this tool is set up is, everybody's workflow is different, everybody's show is different. You can actually create your own apps within Cineos. So you can see here it says adding a custom app is really easy. There are 5 templates. You could set up a calendar, a file cabinet, and there's some various other ones. But I'm going to set up a video file cabinet. And let's say I'll call this Sizzle Reel. And I will create this application. It'll ask me to set permissions for the app that I've just created, and it gives me a success message. Congratulations, you have just created an app and set its permissions. You are hereby certified a computer genius. Good. That was easy. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into video files, and this is where I will store my sizzle reel. Now, what I'm actually going to do is switch over to another demonstration project. Rather than upload a video now, I'm going to log into a different browser and show you what it actually looks like when you upload videos into Cineos, because there are some really interesting things you can do once you've got the video in the cloud. Okay, let me log into a different account. Okay, so I'm going to go into another project here. It's called Use the Force. This is a little, actually a very cute indie film. You should Google it. That was shot here in LA about a year ago. Okay, so I'm going to go into video files, and I'm going to go into this example, rough cuts. So you can see 7 different videos have been uploaded here. Now, Cineos is a tool for professionals, so you can upload professional video formats, whether it's Avid DNX HD or ProRes, whatever it may be. So let me click on one of these videos. First thing it's going to do is play a high quality, high definition version of the clip. Very funny stuff. Okay, but I'm going to click on the More button here because this is where the set of video tools are. So you can see here's a low-res copy of the video. There's basic information about the video clip here. That's fine. But there's also make comments here. So let's say your editor uploads a rough cut of the sizzle reel and you've got some feedback for them. You can make comments. You can annotate right on top of the video. So like it says, start playing video. Okay, mark my in point, mark my out point. And I will say color correct this shot. You get the idea? Okay, add my comment, and it starts to make a shot log down here. So now I can click there and go directly to that shot. So instead of writing down time code and writing down comments, you're actually writing directly on the video. You can also download the original source clip, and you can also email out a screening copy. So if you want to email out a secure copy of a clip to somebody who's not connected to the project, it's easy to do. You just hit this button. You send out a link. You actually set, for security reasons, Rod talked before about you never leave anything behind. For security reasons, you set the video to self-destruct, so link valid for. So maybe you only want it to be active for 24 hours. The person gets a link, they click on the link, they open up the email, and it takes them to a full-page view of the high-definition view of the video clip. So very easy to manage and collaborate on video and share it with people that you want to share it with. There's messages and tasks here. I don't have time to get into that during this session, but you'll see some on the top of the window here. You see some avatars, icons. These are people that I'm connected to on Cineos that are online right now. So if I click on somebody's icon, I can do things like send them an instant message, and it goes directly to their browser. So I can communicate with them in real time. But there's also a button here that says Conference Room. And if I click on that, you can actually do video conferencing directly in Cineos. And I'll show you a screenshot of what this looks like. If you're familiar with Google Hangouts, it's similar to that, but it's within a secure production type of environment. People are using this for things like virtual production meetings, and believe it or not, virtual table reads. So now I think you'll get a sense for what these tools look like when you start to use them in a production environment. Now, I'm running low on time, so just to make a couple more points. First of all, on Cineos, we're actually speaking at the Produced By conference on Saturday as well. And there we're going to be announcing the availability of 2 new apps. One is for an iPhone. So once you get, I've just shown you the web version of Cineos. Once you get the information in there, you'll be able to get it in your iPhone. Always have all of your production information in your hand. And also an iPad version where there's actually a view on the iPad where it turns your Cineos project into a production binder. So instead of carrying around, when you're in production, instead of carrying around a binder that's that thick and that is out of date by the time you print it, actually it turns your iPad into a real-time production binder. Now, this obvious question here is how much does a tool like this cost? One of the benefits of working with these cloud-based tools is that, generally speaking, they're pretty inexpensive. And oftentimes what you'll see is a free trial, right? So you can sort of dip your toes in the water and see how these tools work for you. We are actually making an announcement today. Actually, if you read Broadcasting and Cable, they picked up the story, that we are now offering a free version of Cineos, completely free. So all of the different functions and features in Cineos are free to manage one show, 5 gigs of cloud storage, and unlimited users. And then if you find that it works well in your workflow, you can upgrade to Cineos Pro, which is $49 a month, where you can manage unlimited shows and get unlimited cloud storage. So the point is, again, these tools are inexpensive, which is particularly useful when you're in development before there's a budget attached to your show. So I'm out of time. So if you want to get started on Senios, you can log in now. You can go to senios.com, set up your show. Like I said, it's free. Our team we've got a table in the lobby. So we're going to be here today and tomorrow. So if you have any questions about the cloud in general, production in the cloud, about Senios, stop by. We'd be happy to answer them. And with that, I think that's my time. All right, thank you.